Thursday analysis stream here on lichess and Twitch. VIP Astrobate, Mr. Coffee.
Yes.
That's for Astrobate.
Yes.
That's for Mr. Coffee. Smashing the yes button. We've got subs from Astrobate Tier 3 for 41 months. Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee, 43 months.
Yes.
It's Tier 2. Mr. Coffee's been here longer than Astrobate. Unbelievable. That's crazy, guys. Thank you so much to my biggest supporters. Also, Mr. Slowhand in the house. I believe we have game submissions from Mr. Slowhand and Astrobate, along with Iobates. Another regular subscriber to the stream. Currently not, I guess, but Bijak 21. Premk 666. You submitted yours. You didn't follow the... If you submitted yours, you didn't follow the Prem. Did you guys follow the instructions? Mubot. I got nothing from 666. But you're supposed to submit them to Iobates. You just read up the screen on exclamation Thursday. Thursday command. Thank you, Thursday analysis subscriber stream. Submit your games to Iobates on lichess. And there's the... Yeah. We've been doing that for about a month now, so it's not like totally... You could stop doing subscriptions. That does it wrong. Say what? Alright. Can you check the lichess inbox? Yeah, BDoc doesn't do it either. You guys are bad. You're bad subscribers who are not following the instructions. The game is not there. I sent it to Iobates. You better not have spelled his name like that, because that might be your problem. We'll check the study. We will check the study. It's funny, it's hotter here than it was this afternoon. Now, evening is hotter than daytime. Alright, where's my study? Sumaher is in there. Studies I contribute to. Analysis stream of last week. What the? There it is. No. Man, lichess makes me crazy, dude. Where is the study? There it is. So the following players are in. Yabades. He never forgets himself. Mr. Slow. Evan Longoria. Move 11 and Tezek. It's not difficult. All right. Let's see. I have to check my messages now. Because of... I sent it to Sumaher a few days ago. Iobates, so you sent it to the wrong person. Is Iobates a person? No results. There is no Iobates, so he couldn't have sent it to them. Iobates, did you get Sumaher's game? He said he sent it to you. That's what they all say. Iobates, check your messages. You'll have to send it in now, man. It's not too late. Sumahara sent me before without problems. Alright, Iobades will add those games. He asked for the job, and he got it. Man, it's suddenly very stuffy in here. It was feeling good. I was like 70 degrees, but I'm feeling kind of stuffy now. Alright, let's get started. Without further ado, let's go back. So I want to make sure you can see the names. We'll make the board a tiny bit smaller. There. You can just about see the names there. $70 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm American. 21. It was something like 21, 22 degrees here. Alright, Ibadas game up first. For all of his hard work collecting these games, Iobates is white. He was 2206 in rapid chess. So d5, e4. The proper Dunst opening. Knight c3, d5, e4, d4, knight on cd, e2. Again, I want to thank Mr. Coffee and Acerbate for subscribing at tier 2 and tier 3 respectively. Let's see, it feels hotter than that in my office right now. I think the temperature went up. The day, like, it just gets the roof gets hotter. It feels hotter than 70. It feels hot now. I'm checking my phone. 76 degrees. 76 degrees Fahrenheit. It feels like 86 at least in my room. Room, you feel hot. Alright. So, classic opening. Cooking Rooks, thank you for joining us. If you go out on the street, it feels good. I went for a long walk. It was great. I wasn't too hot, but I'm in like cooking like an oven on the roof of my building. It's definitely hotter than 76. What's up, Cooking Rooks? A donation of 500 bits. So great start for the stream. Today we have a tier 3 sub, tier 2 sub, and Cooking Rooks with a donation of 500 bits. Cooking Rooks, let Iobadas know if you have a submission for the stream today. Sada Masagana, not a subscriber, but welcome. Astrobate with 500 bits. Starting the month off right. 96 there. Now that's serious. You need air conditioning. I have an air conditioner downstairs. We don't have to use it very often. But up here I need one. But we don't have one installed. Alright, F4. I'm going to be crying a little bit later on about how hot it is, like I did last summer. I didn't used to spend the summers here in Budapest. It gets brutally hot. Probably a lot like in Serbia. Not as bad as Las Vegas. But at least Las Vegas is a dry heat, you know? Right. No, I mean, it's a dry heat. You know, there's no humidity. It's not that bad. But we get this, like, really bad humidity like the East Coast. F6. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like F6. You've got no way to exploit this diagonal here. It all comes down to that. I mean, if white has a way to exploit the weaknesses on the diagonal, then white has a good game. But with the knight in the way, and the only good square for the knight at g3, it's not so easy. Cooking rooks is going to get added to the study. Sumaher should be added to the study. Cooking rooks is added. Did Sumaher's game get added? And what about 666? All right, f6, d3, c5. This guy likes his pawn chains. That's pretty solid hockey stick there. Check. The check structure. Check. So you've got no games from Ubatis has no games from those two guys. 666, and you guys have to submit that game. I didn't check. Let me see. Let me check about the other one. For 666. Alright, what's your name again? Could you send me a message? Ubatis, send him a message so he knows your account. I don't know. It seems to be very difficult. So I do have a game today. You should send it to Ubatis next time. Alright, I'll try to add this. It will work. This will work. Guys, just remember, technically you should be subscribers to add your games. We'll make an exception for Bijak. He's gonna resubscribe to the stream, right? 2013 is when I moved into a real house. Good thing you didn't move in now. Good luck with the housing market. So we've got 7 games in the study now. Cooking Rooks gifted a tier 1 sub to Bijak. That was fast service. But Bijak has been a regular subscriber. It always is confusing. You guys have like different names on Twitch and lichess. It drives me crazy. Like I have to remember both. It's hard enough to remember one name, but I have to know Sumaher and Bijak. Asterbait with 1,000 bits. It's almost... Oof, that's a big one. 1,000 bits from Asterbait. Thank you guys for the support. The conductor. Current hype train conductor. Mr. Coffee's here. He's quiet. There he is. Cheers, Cooking Rooks. Now you're legal, Bijak. Alright, I'm going to go back to this game. And we're going to focus. We were here. So d3, c5. So here's a game from 2005. White played knight f3. There's nothing wrong with knight f3, by the way. That looks like a perfectly good move. Okay, it's basically a King's Indian where the cow jumped over the moon. It's a King's Indian or modern reverse now. And I know that we're going to transpose some games here. There was the guy Todor Todorov from Bulgaria who came to my stream a few times. He didn't really talk. I don't know how good his English is. But he played like all these systems where he was always like trading off his bishop with bishop h3. I know Ubatis doesn't really like this, but there is a school of thought about this type of move. You trade off the white square bishops, then close the structure. You see, Asma Parashvili, Portish, 1988. Now you got a pretty good player. He's not only a mafioso politician, a mafioso chess politician. He's also a really good player. Um, but Bishop H3, Knight H3 is a positional-based idea from Asma Parashvili. He's a modern defense Pirates player, so he's trading off his bad bishop and then probably closing it up with F5. That's the way that Todor Todorov would play. And I mean, there's a lot of games like that in the modern King's Indian. But it's certainly not the only way to play. The argument is that this bishop is very blocked by the pawn at e4. I just got some advertisements from organizers in Serbia about some tournaments in the summer, Bijak. They found my name on some kind of mailing list. Bishop g2, bishop d6, knight f3, knight on g to e7, f5. You see, this is kind of weird. Why he wants to play g5 after closing with f5? Well, I mean, that's a standard pawn break. Yeah. Maybe. If white's placed properly, and developed enough and his king is safe, sure. But I wanted to say here, I thought it's a little strange to play f5 now. In some sense, it's strange. Like, what good does this bishop on g2 do? I want to see what the oracle says. No, it's up there with f5. The oracle's #1 move is actually f5. I just want to point out that the computer says black is slightly better based on space with the d4 pawn. But I mean, I'm just trying to say there's a little bit of a sort of, I would call it, inconsistency about the fact that, we're playing bishop g2, and then, this would be fine, like, if our bishop was traded off. But I generally would think, oh, well, we'll keep the tension and hope somehow this diagonal, hope somehow the diagonal opens up. Black isn't castled, so black could actually start some sort of pawn action with h5, maybe. So Anna Ushanina, an old friend of mine, and the computer, otherwise known as Sebastian Feller, and another old friend of mine, Suat Adalik. All these players with black are really good players, or computer cheaters, in one case. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would prefer to keep the tension if I was playing the King's Indian. I don't know. Castles. So that's what almost everyone played. Muzichuk, the only really strong player with white there. Black is not committed, which is cool. Alright, I noticed that Adalik was playing black, and he does play the Samish King's Indian. Black is playing black like a Samish King's Indian here, reversed. So f5 committal. I don't think that black should castle into the attack, into that. Black should probably wait, not castle, keep their options open. Play for c4. Not to say black couldn't castle. Neither player castled. So Meshkovs played queen c7, and the computer played bishop d7. Or we could just call him the cheater. I think you should be banned from chess for life. Not like a few years or temporarily. It should be like perma-ban for cheating in live tournaments. But whatever. Alright. G5. Very surprising move. He wants to blockade the king side. Okay, this is done sometimes, but the problem is white has h4. The problem is h4, you can't play h6 because you can't defend the rook at h8. So if h4, black has to play g4. Taking looks bad structurally, leaving this Isolani on h7. He would have to play g4. I assume white would like play knight d2, where the knight has a chance to come here maybe. And then h5. It's a tough game. But Yabatis plays g4, and now black has h5, if he wants to try that. It reminds me of the Slav, you know, cooking rooks, the a6 Slav, where this sort of thing happens on the queen side. If black plays h5 before white has a chance to play h4, what are we going to do? Grub and Borg. If h3, black just freezes in place, I guess, with h4. White could sack a piece, you know, at some point later on. I don't know. I think he should play h5. He has to play h5. This is cool. The computer wants to do that. That's a beautiful move. Okay, queen b6 looks reasonable, but it's not, because it gives white time for this. I thought h4. The idea behind king d7 may be the fact that your rook is protected. That looks like insanely crazy. It's a Korchnoi move. King d7, king c7, walk over to the queen side. But most importantly, we're protecting the rook. So if h4, you can play h6 and recapture with the queen on h8. I don't think this is over. h4, h6, knight g3. If you play like Yevgeny or something, I don't know, man. I had a game like this against Yevgeny Viktorovich in one of our weekly tournaments with white, and he just like, it was like dentistry. I was almost lost. I think I got a draw at the end. So queen b6 leaves this rook unprotected, and then white hits him with h4. So now there's nothing that black could do. Yabatis should strike immediately, but he theoretically wastes time here with king f1. This is a mouse slip. No, I don't know. Is that a mouse slip? What is king f1? You think it was a mouse slip? Like, yeah, I mean, you know, your king has flexibility. The ability to castle, like in chess 960, at any moment's notice, is a huge flexibility and an advantage. You should never move the king unnecessarily if you might be able to castle 20 moves from now. You know, definitely. Definitely. I don't think it's a normal move, really. Why is it a normal move? If I'm going to move my king, I would probably put it on f2, honestly. Not f1. I understand you're avoiding the checks on the diagonal. But really, if I have to pick a square, I'm going to connect my rooks. And there's no pieces that are like going to use the f2 square. And you might want to play bishop f1. It's a king's Indian. You know, this defensive maneuver in the king's Indian, to come back to f1 to hold that base of the pawn chain, is a very standard maneuver. If you look at the modern defense, there's a lot of examples. You had an idea? It was to put on f1 so I could play queen e1. Yeah, it's the Dutch. Astrobate gifted a tier 1 sub. Spectacular Camel, you're not a subscriber? He's like our assistant and he's not a subscriber. Get him out of here. Oh my god, he was under the radar. You think just like working as an assistant for my stream is enough? Thank you, Astrobate. Alright, anyway, this is a long analysis. Alright, King F1, mouse slip. He wants to be able to play Queen E1. Bishop D7. Boom. You better not wait anymore. H4 is just barely in time. Spectacular Camel's a prime subby. Wait, Astrobate just gifted a tier 1 sub. He was a prime? He wasn't. He wasn't showing up. That's weird. Did the prime subs not show up like normal subs, Mr. Coffee? Did their badges not show up? I mean, he's just like Prime Gaming or whatever. It says Prime Gaming, but that's not the same. But H4, now he showed because Astrobate just donated a sub. H4, it's too late now for black. The prime subs have a crown. Are you serious? I thought that was like just because they use Prime Gaming. That's Prime Gaming. Are you sure? There's subs? That's a Prime Gaming is a sub? I didn't know that. I thought subs were subs. lichess has a new feature, by the way, at the top of your Chrome. When you're playing... Yeah, Mr. Coffee's just making stuff up. Prime Gaming is a Prime sub? Are you sure? When you're playing now, at the top of the screen on the left, the little horsey in the Chrome tab starts blinking when it's your move. I realized this today. I don't understand how I realized this today. I don't think... Oh yeah, I did play. I did play today. Some training games with one of my students. It's just an icon, see? You just switched mine. You switched it from what? Alright, H4 and then black's busto. So I think at this point he just has to take and try to live with the consequences of these. Yeah, I thought so. I agree with Cooking Rooks. I believe him. Prime Gaming just means you use Prime Gaming. It doesn't mean you're a Prime sub. I know it's not confusing or anything. But I think Cooking Rooks is right. That's what I thought. G takes H4. No time for H6, so black's busted his pawn structure. But instead of just busting his pawn structure, he just like commits suicide with H5. His rook is unprotected, so now it's over. That's basically game over. Because we're threatening a protected pass pawn on G6. Committed suicide. F takes G5 now. There is no good move for black. I guess he should probably take. He takes. You guys, check this out now. Black makes the most unbelievable move ever. G takes H and castles. Now, is that the question is that a mouse slip? This was not the greatest game, but frankly, this is, I think, the AP87 just said, just to salute you, good evening. Thank you, Andrea. One of our older viewers just stopped by to say, hey, Move 11. Move 11 now, VIP, founder, 47-month subscriber, and 10K cheer badge. Move 11, they're going to have to add more space if you get any more badges. I'm going to have to make the screen wider here to fit them all in. Dude, this is the worst castle I ever saw. Like, My theory is that he tried to castle queenside, but accidentally clicked the rook on the king side or something first. He touched his king's rook and then tried to castle queenside, but accidentally castled kingside. This is the worst castle I ever saw. Move 11 is going off. Asterbait is gifting tier 1 sub to Slagy's community. Oli Boli. And Move 11 gifted a tier 1 sub to the community to JCAK24. Igara just subscribed to tier 1. Here comes a hype train. Hype train in honor of the worst castle of all time. Seriously, guys, thank you. But have you ever seen a worse castle? I mean, castling into like Mate in 1 or something would be worse than this. But what seriously can Black be thinking about this castle? Knight takes g5, and then... I mean, White's king is pretty stupid here, honestly. Asterbait 500 bits, thank you. But the pawn shell, you know, the pawn shell. And the pieces as well. You know, this is like a typical classical King's Indian, where the pieces just shelter the king as well. White's king is a hell of a lot safer than Black's king. Black has no pawns, and his pieces are sort of behind that. They're all bunched there behind the pawn chain. So, Cooking Rooks, thank you, 500 bits. In honor of the worst castle of all time. This is not Dracula's castle. The stream is on fire today. Knight takes f5, sacking a piece for 2 pawns. Asterbait with 1,000 bits. So you're going to seriously try to push a hype train. The hype train conductor with 1,000 bit donation. I can't even keep up with it. What do we got? Cookie Rooks 2 gift subs. Asterbait 2 gift subs. Move 11 to gift sub. Asterbait 3,000 bits. Cooking Rooks 2,000 bits. Is it salary day in America? A lot of us, for a lot of people, it is. The end of the month is not good. Beginning of the month is better. We got a hype train. Hype train incoming. What was that, a snake? Mr. Cillian just donated 5 gift subs. So, Universitatea Cluj, who's from BS Stream, A. Archaics, Sharma Pranav, Dr. J Law, and Prickler 1. Thank you, man. 5 gift subs. Americans are overpaid, according to Cooking Rooks. It's the last working day in the month that is salary in Europe. Okay. Asterbait gifted tier 1 sub to AL. What is that? A 1952 Tops. Wow, baseball fan. Alright, Knight takes f5. Guys, we're 20% of the way to a hype train. Hype train level 2. We got hype train level 1. So Black just sacked a piece for nothing. Bishop takes f5. Asterbait just uses 1,000 bits. Takes up to 33% of level 2. He's the hype train conductor. He wants to keep his status of hype train conductor. Mule Skinner just subscribed with Prime. Let's check out his icon. Move Left and just gifted 5 tier 1 subs, so we're definitely getting close. Mozart, welcome. Got a recent gift sub. Hype Train 73%. Move 11 with 5 gift subs to Gourmandise, Be Afraid 7, Judas, Dracofire, and Sean Pinto. Asterbait gifting tier 1 sub community to Invimk. Damn, you guys are really battling. Asterbait is gifting tier 1 sub community to Stefano Baghino. 86% for Hype Train, level 2. Bishop g4, Black's just losing here. h6, c4, it's a little late for that. Bishop d5 check, king h8. This game is really just entertainment for the Hype Train. Knight f7 check, he sacks the exchange, take. The end is actually kind of cool. Queen c7, queen f1, defending the bishop. It's an innocent move, right? It's just an innocent move defending his bishop. Guys, we have 2 minutes to go. 87% to the hype train. Mule Skinner, say something. I want to see your badges. That's from Mr. Coffee. Show me your stinking badges, man. Alright. Queen F1, innocently defending his bishop, and then he gets pinned with Rook F8. And Mule Skinner said, hi, what's up? No ulterior motive behind Queen F1. Cooking Rooks and Astrobate and move 11. Move 11 and Mozart are talking music now. Rook F8, Queen F6 check, King H7, and Queen G7 mate. Very entertaining indeed. So we made tier 3 in the hype train thanks to Cooking Rooks, Astrobate, putting us over the edge with 500 each. Thank you guys, seriously. Hype train level 3. Hype train level 3, anyone. 25 viewers. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. Good to see Mozart back. Alright. Bang, mate. Let's go to game 2. So this is Mr. Slowhand. We're on to level 3 with Mr. Slowhand. I've got Hype Train level 3, 0%. Mr. Slowhand is up. So what is this? Mr. Slowhand playing black. Let's flip the board. You're out of bits, man. Very generous, everybody. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to make it to level 3. To even make it past level 2. To achieve level 2. Quite an achievement for a Thursday stream, where we usually don't have that many viewers. Sundays is my bigger stream. But I try to present some instructive stuff here. So let's get to work. The Abatis game was just a warm up, basically. D4, Knight F6, C4, G6, Knight C3, level 3 emotes. Okay, hype conductors. Be one of the top supporters to earn the Hype Train Conductor badge. Move 11 has contributed 6 subs. Astrobate has used 3,000 bits. So we have 2 Hype Conductors? How does that work? Did you guys both? Your game got us a Hype Train. Thank you, Ubatis. You deserve all the credit. So who got the Hype Train Conductor badge? Whoa, Mr. Slowhand is done for this month because he finally bought my dream chess set. He bought his dream chess set for 500 euros. Oof. Congratulations. So tell us about it. What kind of set did you get? 500 euros. Sounds like I'll trade you my Star Trek chess set. Mr. Coffee never bought it for my... No, I never put it on eBay, actually. Mr. Coffee, do you want to buy my Star Trek chess set? It's still in the storage unit. 500 euros? I don't know. I can imagine you can buy chess sets for like thousands of euros. You can buy watches in the airport for like tens of thousands of dollars. I'm sure that chess sets can go like ridiculously high. But I mean, then you're just like kind of wasting your money. I think good chess sets around $500. Slagy, is it a 3D set from start? It's not 3D. Is it delivered by Scarlett Johansson? Damn, Mozart. All your prices are a little bit like 90s, I think. Mozart lives in Switzerland. He's complaining about the prices. Are you serious? Alright. I have 500 bits left. I'm going to have 2k bit here on out. Have to 2-bit here on out. But Hype Train was worth it. Handmade quality wood. Well, I mean, yeah, I imagine you can buy a really good set for 500. There is some inflation going on, but I wouldn't go higher than that for a chess set, or I wouldn't go higher than that. You know, maybe 1,000, but after that, you're being gaudy. Cooking Rooks, you may share a link. Absolutely. Yeah, I trust you. So King's Indian. All right. Bishop e2. This is the... Oh, you got a set from House of Staunton. House of Staunton is one of the bigger commercial suppliers of chess sets in the United States. I bought a set from them years ago. Hype Train. Hype Train achievement. Get. We received level 2 Hype Train emote. 17 subs, 4,000 bits. Choo choo. As in Staunton. Yeah. That's true. 500 euros doesn't go far here. I just never bothered to buy a good chess set. I mean, I have to admit, you know, for someone who spent his life on chess, I also, like, I think my best set, you know, the best set I ever bought was like 250 from House of Staunton years ago, or 200. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it depends if you're talking about the set and board. You know, like Mr. Slow is talking about board and set. I think I bought a really good set for $200 something and didn't buy a board. I had another wood board at home. But I mean, for someone who's like a professional or semi-professional chess player, I've never had an expensive chess set, you know. There are like tons of billionaires with thousands of dollars, you know, $5,000 chess sets all over the world. You bought one of the sets they used the first Saturday tournaments. Yeah, well, Shandor Biro used to make those. This Hungarian from Romania. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. It's a Shandor Biro set. At the first Saturday. So, alright, actually, this is funny. So, Mr. Slow plays the variation I played sometimes with H6. Shandor Biro is still around. He lives in... I saw him a couple years ago. He's an IM who makes chess sets. Bishop e3, e5. So I played c5 and never had good score with this. But Mr. Slow's got his secret system here. I played everybody always asks you that too. When I have my estate sale, everyone who is doing the estate sale is like, "You're a professional chess player. Wow, you must really like have a lot of cool chess sets." I had like people gift me chess sets, but it's funny, you know, I never had a really like fancy chess set. But my mom bought the Star Trek chess set years ago. I never, you know, used it. We just collected it. D5, C6. So for me, this is weird, you know. H6 and C6. But Mr. Slow really knows his lines. You know, you just think you go through, you know, the duty free at every airport and there's like stuff for $10,000 in the window for sale. You think a chess set could easily go for like 10 or 20 grand. Compared to like a wristwatch or something, like luxury chess set. There probably are insanely expensive chess sets. C6, H3, Knight A6. Yeah, when you're like a chess master, you have family, they always like gift you. They gift you the weird novelty chess sets, of course. That's classic. Part of our culture, Mozart. I couldn't get rid of the Star Trek set. It's still in storage. So what is the system? Mr. Slow playing. Mr. Slow play. Bishop G5. You know, so I want to go down on paper and say, okay, I think probably, you know, my most knowledgeable person I know who played the King's Indian was Fedorovich, and he was always playing knight on BD7 or like C5. You can play knight a6. But this is like my worst system. Sadama Sagana is talking about queen e8. I didn't know that was a variation. You can play queen e8 in the classical King's Indian too, you know, if you want to be weird. Like knight f3, castles, bishop e2, queen e8. Just do it, you know, because it's different. That doesn't make it good though, you know. Mozart. An Uber driver. They may have met before. So h6, bishop e3, e5, d5, and then c6. So this move is weird. It goes against like classical theory by attacking the head of the pawn chain at d5. I remember a million years ago I played a young lady in Hastings. I can't remember her name now. I guess she quit playing, but she was like a 2200 player. Bishop e3. We had bishop e3, e5, d5, and I did c6. I think I did c6 here. She did something like g4, and I played queen a5. The game's not in here. Speaking of, I can't remember her name. She did king f1 against me. This funny enough, it was like a little bit after the Sadler game against Krasenkov. That's funny, yeah. I just made it up over the board, but we played. That's probably from Hastings too, 1990. I don't know. I was in Hastings a little later, but that's the only time when I felt like I played c6 in a similar position. I wanted to know where Mr. Slohan got this line from, because until he played it against me, I had never really seen it played. e5. I mean, d takes e5 is nothing. But white could play knight f3 and transpose back into a normal Gregorich, but h6 may or may not be a constructive move for black. d5 is normal. Now you do c6. So, okay, what's the big deal? Aren't we like helping white on the queen side here? h3. So he's completely just on his own after h3. But h3 is kind of less common move. Queen d2 idea piling up here. Man, this goes way back into 1977. Gligorich, Todorov, 2010. Speak of the devil. He can't play bishop h6 here. He got smashed. Bet you're not going to trade off your bad bishop now, dude. Haha. He couldn't manage bishop h6. Ironically, like his favorite idea against Vorobiev. Lerner, who passed away in the last few years. Supreme666 says, no, I have saw it just now in the simul that I played. His opponent played like this. Yeah, I mean, this is a very unusual system by Mr. Slow. But there's quite a few games, you know. I mean, it's kind of surprising for an unusual line that doesn't seem to have a great score. Look how many games are. I mean, you're talking about over 100 games where this position was reached. That's kind of unusual. You'd think it was some rare sideline, there would only be like 20 games. There's actually over 100 games, like 120 games here. Yeah, I would like white here. Right. Knight a6 is an idea. I mean, if black isn't, you know, black can slip into a Petrosian system pretty quickly too. Oh no. Bidyak, what is going on with you and Yabatis? Is there some kind of problem? You sent it to you, Sledgy. Alright. You just don't want to deal with each other. Just making problems for me. So, c6, h3, knight a6. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance you could play knight c7, knight e8. But it looks like black is trying to play for knight c5. I mean, that can get captured sometimes. King h7, g4, knight c5. Yeah, you don't really want to give up the dark square bishop, especially after playing g4. The dark squares are even weaker now. So white plays f3. But speaking of the dark squares, a5. So Mr. Slow plays sort of a cheapo here with queen a5. This is like a game I had yesterday. In a what was that? Some kind of Sicilian-like position. Well, I mean, black's setup seems a little artificial, but at the same time, you know, if it works, it works. He has a concrete threat. You think like, okay, you don't need king h7, knight c5 right away, threatening e4. Yeah, I mean, you have to calculate this, right? Knight takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, queen e3. Then there's queen a5 check, so it looks good. That looks pretty strong. So Mozart may be right on... Wait, what did we say? King h7. He played king h7. He should play knight c5 instead. So you could save a tempo. Maybe white plays bishop f3 there. I mean, maybe that's better than f3, because white now still has time. I mean, he does have time to play knight on g to e2. We'll probably, you know, try this cheapo again. And then white moves the rook, threatening b4. And then Mr. Slow is like super creepy here. Just, yeah, Mozart is right. It's possible to play knight c5. You don't have to play king h7. I don't like playing king h7 if I don't have to. If the guy's going to play this type of thing with like g4 especially. But it may be a problem anyway. Yeah, so it looks like you're right. Oh my gosh, there's a computer line. I don't like to use the engine too much, but you have this. You have this. It's possible to play even this. I don't know what it means in the grand scheme of things. I mean, the position's kind of weird. You're going to trap the bishop. If you save the knight, you trap the bishop. So I don't know. It's very complicated what, you know, the best way to... White's a little bit stuck in the center and needs to complete his development sooner or later. I'll get to that game, guys. If he sent it to me, we'll pick it up and put it in. No problem. Yeah, I agree. There seem to be better moves. But still black's position is okay. Knight c5, f3, queen a5. It looks kind of artificial. So now white blundered with b3. Okay, he's a 1900. Mr. Slow is stronger than his blitz rating. White just blundered. So let's say rook b1. What do we do? Is this a problem? You know, maybe we've got a problem. For real here. I mean, normally you want to play like CD, bishop d7, rook c8, bring the queen back to d8 if you had all the time in the world, but there's no time. So you think you can keep playing like without king h7 Mozart? I mean, I would agree. I would agree. Like, that's not a move we really want to play unless we absolutely have to. But this line is concerning. All right, what do we do now? Like queen b4? That doesn't look right. This is like an Andy Soltis nightmare game. Soltis had a lot of weird kings Indians. Yeah, black's in trouble, actually. Black's in trouble. If cd5, we can allow b4, move the queen, and then get the piece back with d4, for example. White just recaptures, and then we've got passive position. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to play this with black against like a master positional genius or something. You know, probably h4, knight h3, and you're going to suffer for the rest of your natural life. So it looks like Mr. Slow has to improve this, like we mentioned. He was fortunate here. Yeah. And white just blunders, with this obviously lost now. There's just no real compensation. I like how the knight on g1 can't move. So nothing to see here, folks. Step aside. c5, h4. It's a little late for that. Of course black can lose if he's inaccurate. But objectively. Now Mr. Slow has a trick. Bishop takes g4. So this is why he submitted the game. I think the cute nature of the tactical follow-up. He likes his combination. Bishop g4, takes, check, takes. Is this knight trapped? The answer is no. Then you're winning. I like this diagonal, though. Trying to pry open the queen side. Yeah, I don't like that. I would definitely move out of that. I would get out of that diagonal, though still white has this. Still some practical chances for white in a blitz game to save the game. That was a nice tactic, though. He played e4 to close the lines. Princess Chess, welcome. Princess Chess 6-4. You missed the hype train. Oof, this doesn't look good. I don't like the knight coming to e6. Are we okay? I'm getting a little nervous, though. We do have penetration on the 7th or 6th rank. There's bishop takes h6. Is that an issue? I mean, if there's an issue, it's this. Bishop takes h6. Nice knight. But then bishop e5 looks pretty scary. Black's probably winning if he's careful. Yeah, I mean, Uber Driver, you even have knight a2, knight b4, saving knight. The knight's never going to get trapped. But this, it looks like black just takes here. Yeah. And that ends it. It was another blunder by white, so. Mr. Slow's variation still looks kind of sketchy. I don't have a better line. The Averbach was my biggest, when I was playing the King's Indian, one of my biggest problems. The last Averbach I played, I think I lost against Ilya Fiegler, who's passed away. Like a lot of people, sadly. All right, Asterbait versus Evan Longoria. This is game number 3 for today. Thank you, Asterbait, cooking rooks. Mr. Slow, move 11. Move 11 disappeared as quickly as he came. But thanks to all you for your support, for my faithful friends supporting my stream. even though we don't have hundreds of viewers, I do the stream regularly. I put my heart in it, and I try to be instructive. So as long as we have some support from some loving friends, we'll keep the stream going. E4, E5, Knight C3, Knight C6. Man, Astrobate had an amazing game I saw today. Check this out. F4. In another game, there was a really cool line. Check this out. Bijak, relax, man. We'll get to it, but that'll have to be like the last game. E takes F4. Look at this. This is not the game we're going to see now, but I just want to share this game he had with someone else. F4 is not such a common move, okay? Against Knight C6. Against Knight F6, it's like the main line, one of the main lines, let's say. All right, this is a main variation, the so-called Vienna Gambit. But against Knight C6, it's not really considered, you know, main line. Mule Skinner got your first vaccine shot yesterday, still alive. I got my first one. I'm going to get my second one in 2 weeks. And then I'm back to over-the-board chess and poker. So, pretty psyched. A friend of mine wants me to go play poker with him on Friday, but I'm not doing anything till I get my second vaccine. I'm not taking any chances. First chess tournament here for me will be in July. I have a tournament over the board. I am group here, not far from where I live. Nice and convenient, from the 20th to the 28th of July. If anybody wants to come by and root me on. Mozart's making his next trip to Budapest to play chess. I know you played here before as well, but I wasn't here when you were here. I think you played like once, maybe in the summer or something, but I was not usually here during the summers. So we've got F4. Check this out. Pawn takes pawn, Knight F3, Bishop C5, and there's no games. Guys, gotta check this variation. This is like the coolest thing I've seen in a while. Secret variation for black. It was some random player that Astrobate played in Blitz. So, it's like a weird sort of King's Gambit-ish. But there's this really insane variations we looked at. Like, it looks like a blunder. Not one game in Open Explorer. But check it out. If white plays d4, it looks like it's a beginner, right? Oh, he's screwed. Astrobate's opponent played bishop b6, and he's just bad, right? But you have knight takes d4. This you won't find anywhere else but in Astrobate's games and my stream. Knight takes d4. Knight takes d4, queen h4 check. And it's like hell on earth after this. There's two different lines, G3 and King E2. And they're both absolutely insane. So the one that's the most spectacular is King E2. Black has D5 after King E2. How about Queen G4 instead of Knight F3? Ooh. You might have come up with a new idea. Let me make this the main line. So Mozart has another suggestion. Queen G4 instead of Knight 3, like that other line. Like the normal line, you know, with, how does it go? Bishop C4, Bishop C5, Queen G4. This is your favorite line from now on? Dude, this is crazy. But the complications are insane. Where's the variation? Where did it go? Where did it go? Alright, D5. What did I say? Knight takes D5? Bishop B4 check. Here. I feel like I got something wrong though. Wait a minute. Maybe it wasn't D5 right away. Was it knight f6? It has to be d5 right away. d5 right away. Yeah, d5 right away. Knight takes d5, bishop g4 check, knight f3, queen f2 check, king d3, castle's queenside. No, but man, we did a stream on Wednesday, one morning, where we saw almost identical game by... There was an almost identical game. Who was it, Astrobate? It was Zuckertort playing white. It was either Zuckertort or De La Bourdonnais that had a very similar game with the king like walking up to c4 and white was just like winning. But the computer says this is just like totally unclear. So this is total 1800 stuff. Absolutely unclear. What's shocking to me is that this has never even been played in a single high-level game. Not even once. Probably we'll find something if we go back in ChessBase and check the games like pre-1930. But so the best line for black is actually... the best line for white was actually bishop c4. That was the conclusion of the computer. This is a better move than d4, was Stockfish. That this is an inaccuracy allowing the piece sacrifice. And also, after d4, also very complex was queen h4 g3. Pawn takes pawn. Bishop g2. Pawn takes pawn check, king f1. Knight f6. Unclear. You know, I think it said like black was slightly better in this line. Knight f3, queen f2 mate. But yeah, anyways, black's, you know, Astrobate's blitz opponent didn't realize he had invented like an amazing new variation. Oh, okay, you want to play that? Knight f3, bishop c5, d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen h4, check, g3. Pawn takes pawn, knight f3. Well, there's the g2 check, knight h4, queen, right? Is that a problem? Yeah, that's a problem. The old g2 queen trick. That's not good. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with everybody. That's not the game that he submitted for the stream today. Is it? No. The game in question... Alright. Was bishop b4. Bishop b4. Mule Skinner, almost. Mule Skinner-esque. So bishop e4, knight f3 would be a normal move. Knight f3 here is a normal move. It's like a Chigorin on the other side of the board. I already like white's position, and I'm taking toward the center. I'm playing the you know, I feel it's the Schliemann, man. I'm playing the Schliemann, a tempo up Schliemann with white. How can that not be good? Yeah, I mean, bishop e4 is really... It's a little too much. You know, Solskjaer played it with black. So that tells you... It's not as bad as Johnny Hector, but it's up there. Bishop e4 is not a normal move. That's extremely provocative. And Astrobate actually fell for it. But it looks like objectively, like knight f3. Bishop takes knight is a bad move. What should black do? Like take here, probably? Carlsen. Wow. So there are actual games in this line. Carlsen, Ivanchuk, and Arthur Kogan. So we got some serious games. La Chess. Crazy Ivanchuk. My awkward cousin. And Magnus Carlsen. It looks like knight d5 is... That's an interesting cast of characters. It looks like knight d5 is what he's trying to provoke. But interesting. Now black plays pawn takes pawn. I mean, I would take the bishop if I don't have anything better. I mean, I don't know. Why don't you just take this? Queen h4. Ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer. So if you play knight takes, you get hit by queen h4 check. Yeah, Ivanchuk's amazing. I wish I would get to play him. That would make my life, to get to play him over the board. I'm sad that I'm not like a European citizen, because I could get to play in the European Championship. If I could play in the European Championship, yeah, Mozart, you should like become a Swiss citizen. Are you a Swiss citizen? You can become like, you can play in the European Championship. Then you could get to play like Ivanchuk in an over the board game in like the first round of some kind of open or something. That would be cool. I like the video where he plays. He's like playing checkers during the prize giving ceremony of some big tournament he won. He's just totally crazy. Knight f3. Yeah, stopping queen h4. Now, like, theoretically, you're threatening to take the bishop. Knight f6. Black doesn't care. But, I mean, I think at this point we take this. You find your own chess just too disgusting to bother playing? I don't know, Mozart. I think you're too hard on yourself. But honestly, I understand what you're saying. You know, sometimes people are too perfectionist. This year, David Rigo passed away, which was shocking. But I always thought of him as someone, not to speak ill of the dead, but I don't mean anything bad. I had the utmost respect for Rigo. Someone who basically, I think, quit chess because he was too much of like a perfectionist. Like, there are people like that, you know. You can't be too hard on yourself. Exactly. It would require a lot of work. Well, I'm still doing that. I'm playing with my repertoire from 2001. Well, I'm playing with my repertoire from 2006. What's up, Skaveningen? We're just analyzing games, so join us if you want. You missed the tournament stream yesterday. Astrobate, I don't like A3, man. Guys, we're analyzing games from subscribers. This is Astrobate's interesting opening. Astrobate's excellent adventure. But A3 is not a constructive move. The big question is, should you play this or not? What we're doing, it's like a kind of 4 knights reversed or something. But I mean, knight takes bishop is principled. You're grabbing that bishop and leaving black's knight in a sketchy position on b4. I mean, that's the default move. That's got to be the default move. And then what happens after e5? Normally, Astrobate loves playing e5. It's a national holiday. You're trying to find good carpenters for your apartment last minute. And you hit 2400 on lichess for the first time. Congratulations. Yeah, be careful when you hire people to do construction work. That's tricky business, man. I'm not very good at that. Alright. I mean, you know, if you have friends, it's the best place to go for references, I guess. Don't use the telephone book. I don't know. Alright. A3. Yeah, anyway. Astrobate played A3. I agree, bishop c4 is also a move. This is seriously like some kind of weird Schliemann reversed. There's Ivanchuk. Ivanchuk Aronyan. Knight d5. Bishop d5, of course. Chucky played e d5. That's boring, though. Look, check. Don't even tell me. Draw land. These guys have too much respect for each other, so it's almost like likely to be a draw. Unfortunately, too much mutual respect can lead to draws. A3, knight takes d5, e takes d5. This is Asturbate's game. Queen e7 check. Asturbate not one to trade queens, so bishop e2, bishop c5. Yeah, that's just... He's losing a piece. He can't play this move. Yeah, so it's just blunder. Yeah, a3 is a terrible move. And Asturbate got lucky. But it was an interesting opening until this point. That's why we spent so much time on it. It just drops a piece. Yeah. So this looks normal. Bishop e7, like English or whatever, is fine as well. You know, the bishop e4, knight d5 line in the English opening, same idea. You know, you're more than happy to give this up, to get rid of a strong knight and have counterplay. A3 was a terrible move, Asturbate, and you're just lucky that you won a piece. Period. End of story. C5. He's got c5, but that's not enough compensation for a piece. He did this instead. You got to give him credit. I mean, he still has some chances here. Looks like he's losing a piece to a5, though. Well, it's an exchange of pieces, right? That's kind of a problem. So now Black's king is going to have to come up to d7. I like that Asturbate used the human shield theme here with king h1, which shows presence of mind. Keep in mind, Asturbate is 1600, 1683 to be exact. He's not a 2000 player yet, but he could be. But he's got a presence of mind to play king h1, which shows, you know, true understanding. King d7, d5 opening the game, bishop e4, check, king takes, check. The king is just murdered here. Yeah, so it's forced mate. King could go to d6, which will play rook d1 and queen b5. So you were lucky, man. All right. I'm going to check my messages to see if I got this. Maybe your chat banned, Sumaher. Why is no one getting your messages? No, I got it. That's weird. So Sumaher submitted game successfully in the study. Now it'll probably be already there. Like you bought it. Oh, I already put it in. We'll have it twice now. I don't know why you couldn't get that together, guys. All right, what time is it? 8 o'clock. Thank you guys for the generous support today. It's good to see a lot of the people that really love the game. Skaveningen, Mozart, Uber Driver, Asturbate. Move 11 was here earlier. Cooking Rooks, Dr. Tripchance, Mr. Coffee, and Mr. Slowhand. Thanks to all of you. Spectacular Camel. I don't know what's going on. I think that maybe like you blocked each other. So Jovan Pavicevic against Sumaher. Pavicevic. My Serbian is rusty. D4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4. Now, Sumaher has gotten a lot of practice playing against me because I'm playing primarily the Nimzo in the last couple of years. My King's Indian's been in the shop since like 2008 or something. Basically, when I quit playing chess to start playing poker, I'm like Mozart. I didn't update my repertoire since 2006 or something. That's one of the reasons why I stopped playing the King's Indian. It's hard, the King's Indian and things like are very hard to keep up with theoretically. So mostly I play the Nimzo. It's easier to handle, not knowing theory in the Nimzo. It's not as sharp. Not quite as sharp as the King's Indian or something. But anyway, Sumaher has faced me a lot, so he's got a lot of practice here. Though the other day, against me, he played c5, e3. Now, I don't know what you're doing there, but I know that you beat me and whatever, and I lost fair and square, but you really shouldn't play that, I don't know why you're playing e3. You've got to play d takes c here. There's no question. It's the only good move for white. This is critical. There's no question. There's no option to play like e3. Uber Driver does dc5 in inappropriate positions, but he's right this time. I saw your d takes c5. You played it against Miro in the Blitz tournament, the draw game, but this is appropriate. So I think you ought to play that. All right. Anyway, this is not the game. His opponent played d5. So this is funny. We had now bishop g5, and I just want to comment on the fact that this is an unusual move. We had this analysis with your games in the last months, where there was some game where black could sack a pawn, right? After castles, there's this crazy line. Mozart will probably enjoy this because he likes the opening theory. C takes d5. The engine wants to play like c5 here. I just want to show this again because it's a fantastic position. Another theoretical novelty in a really weird position that we saw because of Sumaher, one of his games. This has never been, nobody's ever found this idea. It's a rare variation within a kind of rare variation. I mean, first of all, bishop g5 is not common. You can see here on the opening explorer that white rarely plays that move in this position. I assume it's inaccurate because of d takes c4. Sumer, when you play bishop g5, you're basically playing a queen's gambit with your queen on c2 very, very early. And with your queen on c2 so early, black can play d takes c, and I think your d pawn is a problem here. So this is the problem with your setup. Not to say it's not playable. There's some games here. Beliavsky Korchnoi, 89. But the queen looks early on c2. So if you have a really strong player who's going to think and not just play quick moves, they're going to stop and think about it. That this is basically a Vienna variation where white has played like some sort of inaccurate move order. You'd be in trouble against Yevgeny or Move 11 or one of these guys who plays. I don't want to know what happened if you played Zoltan Ribley. I think you'd be in serious trouble against the top, like Magnus, for example. You're in some trouble here if you're making inaccuracy. So there's a reason why the main line is the main line. A3, by the way, is real solid for black. Take, castle, knight f3, d takes c4, queen c4, and it's just nothing. Like white has nothing here. I'd be in trouble versus you. Nils should be more likely to be playing white in this position. You're supposed to be playing white. B4. Uber driver, a little development could go a long way here. Nice try being like Yas or Saruman. No, this is a good variation for black. I know there's other stuff like that, but I don't trust that as much. This is definitely like best. It looks like Sumaher should play bishop g5 there, and then again we have d takes c4, and again we have queen takes c4, and now again we have b6. It'll be like a transposition. This is solid as hell for black. So I think you should play c takes d. I guess by process of elimination. This is the only chance, man. C takes d5, and hopefully, you know, they'll play queen d5, and you can do e3. And so they don't have that queen f5 crap, which is not as good. So bishop d3. If you play knight f3, you run into the queen f5, which is extremely annoying. So maybe objectively, this is your best shot. Anyways, so back to the game. Queen c2, d5. I mean, you could just play like knight f3, I guess. But again, I think you're playing some kind of inaccurate move order here. All right, bishop g5. This is the game now. c6. Super weird idea. Like he's trying to play the Cambridge Springs defense or something. I guess the basic premise is that if this, he wants to play. No, I don't know. I don't understand what c6 does, frankly. That's a weird move. Maybe he's just trying to transpose to the Cambridge Springs. I don't understand why c6. There's lots of good moves for black. h6 also. You think c5 is the intent? Okay. Well, c5 is a much better move. We're getting close to Kyrgyz. It's getting close to Kyrgyz Botvinnik or something. That famous game where Kyrgyz got crushed in like 20 moves. Looks something like this, isn't it? Man, I don't remember now. But it was like one of the most epic battles between those two. Was that Avro? Yeah, White Castle Queenside like a maniac and got hammered in 20 moves. It was maybe this position. Yeah. But there are some tricky variations I've seen in some lines where c6 can be a real move. Yeah, it's just a mistake. Problem is that white plays cd now. This is probably not bad though. Actually, cd. If cd ed, you have a pretty good queen scout exchange variation where black played bishop b4 for no reason. But what happens if cd queen takes d5? I guess you're still. Yeah. What are you doing there? Knight f3. We're good. So cd5, cd5 by process of elimination. Still slightly better for white. So CD is okay, but is it your best move? Is it better to not play CD? Anyway, I'm being a little too analytical for the amount of time we have per game here. I'm trying to go through every game like it was a lesson, and I don't have an hour to go over every game. I suspect we're close to transposing to a Cambridge Springs, but he needs to have knight bd7 for that to happen. I'm just trying to think. So e3, knight bd7, and if you play knight f3 now, this is even better now. CD is even better. I think I won a game like this with black against David Vigorito once. 29 years ago. Where I played like an idiot and had a bad position but beat him anyway. Like, I had some kind of stupid thing like castles, exchange variation with my bishop on b4, and I won. But it doesn't look right for black. Anyway, alright, cd5, ed5, e3, castles, bishop d3. So this is good. The bishop's misplaced here. I was questioning whether you could have better, basically. You might have had better. Still, this is good. He had better, right? He should take with the c pawn. No, I mean, this is a serious mistake, I think. ED is definitely worse for black. He's playing a bad exchange variation, so he needs to play this. When he's playing just some kind of weird exchange variation, I'm not sure which is worse. I would take my chances here with black rather than play ED and know that I'm worse. Yeah, I think he's got a chance to play that, you know, and it's not that bad. Like a kind of weird exchange Slav. This is definitely worse, though. This bishop is definitely badly placed on b4. Now, yeah, Sumher played bishop f4. Black could maybe play bishop d6 and just trade it off. So this does seem more appropriate. I'm surprised by how many games there are here. I mean, this is crazy. Who are these people? They're just like, it's like a list of random grandmasters who played random people. Oh, there's only 7 games of that, but Savage played this with black. Savage number 2. Handoko, Salcedo, so Komiljanovic. Like, basically no real household names would ever touch this position with black. It's just it's a second-rate position for black. But bishop f4 seems weird. First of all, he has knight h5. Maybe that's not a good move because of bishop e5, but it's a move. And secondly, he has bishop d6, like trading your pieces off. Okay, you're slightly better in either case, but this looks harder to meet, you know. I talked a lot about my teammate who ruined our team championship one year by playing h6 in the Queen's Gambit exchange variation. I just don't understand that, you know, why black wants to do that. But this is definitely not Ilincic 2018. I don't even want to know how Ilincic got this position. He has some really very strange ideas about the opening for a great player. He's kind of eccentric. He's down to like 2380 now. He's lost 200 rating points from his peak. It's crazy. Last time I lost him really bad. I could have had a draw. But man, what was this? Yeah, bishop h4 is good, dude. Exactly. Like, black loses a lot of flexibility by playing h6. He can never play f6 for the rest of his natural life. It's terrible. There was this guy on my team. We almost qualified for the first division. And because of one guy who lost every single time he played black on, like, board 4, we got eliminated from the Hungarian, qualifying for Hungarian first division. I was pissed, man. It was like, you don't play h6 in the Queen's Gambit exchange variation. That's not normal. Why can black play h6 in Queen's Gambit decline, not after exchange on d5? Well, I mean, black plays h6 in Queen's Gambit declined, move 11 in specific variations, right? Like the Lasker, where you're trading pieces with knight e4, or the Tartakover. Where else does he play h6? Lasker, Tartakover. Those two specific variations, it seems to fit in. But in this fixed structure, well, I know, like, one thing, for example, if white ever aims to, like, put a knight on e5, and you can't play f6 to get rid of it or something, you're completely screwed. The other thing is obviously in lines where we're castling long and throwing pawns at the black king. I mean, h6 is going to be like waving, the flag of surrender. h6 is not going to help if it's a sharp opposite side castling position. But that's exactly what Mozart's saying now. We're saying the same thing. It could encourage white to do something sharp like that. But, this is not so bad now. Illich isn't stupid. He gets to trade pieces against some 2395 kid and draw. I like 92. Klyasevic. An old Klyasevic game from 2004. One of the Slovenian turtles. Can we play 10 castles? Yeah, 10 castles is nuts. That's pretty nutty. I mean, letting your structure go completely like that, I don't like it. No, I like 92, and you can castle either side depending on what happens. It's much more rational. No need to do that. But bishop takes d6 is kind of lame. There's a little kid, some kid who played a Lynchich who just like was happy with the draw against the grandmaster, so he played bishop takes d6. But I mean, that's not an ambitious move. 92 is better. Bishop g3 is even better than bishop takes d6. But probably this move wastes the least time, honestly. Bishop g3, I mean, it's not a constructive move. 92 is a little more constructive. So it's interesting, though. You go for e5, and this was the point I was trying to make earlier about h6. With h6, you can't play f6 later on. So if white establishes a Pillsbury bind here with knight f3 and f4, you're basically dead. If I get one more move, if I have literally one more move here with knight e5, black is toast in this position. So ironically, there's a Mastro Vasilis game. Black played bishop takes g3. Black played bishop g4 here, committing suicide. Bishop g4 is over, man. Uber driver, of course you can allow bishop takes f4, but I don't want to do it in that structure. Here, this would really kill our structure. I'm just saying, maybe theoretically you can do that in some position, sure. In the Stonewall Dutch. It looks a little weird to do it here. It's probably playable. Schlechter liked to do it too. But I'm just saying it's not optimal, necessarily. This is crazy. Knight f3, bishop g4. But already, I'm black's, like, after knight e5, I don't know. I think he's almost lost. This looks real bad. Does black have a resource here, like knight h5, maybe? We're really close to tactics. Bishop h7 check. Oh, sorry, the bishop's hanging. Never mind. This is hanging. Well, sometimes I forget the obvious. Yeah, I mean, bishop g4 is always a bad move. Once Anatoly Line did that against me in exchange variation. Our only game. Knight h5, knight f7. Unnecessary, Dr. Trip Chance. Let's not get excited. I was dropping a piece. Okay, so this is ridiculous. This guy, Karagiannis, lost against Master Vasilis. This is what we're aiming for. Good position. But it's not over. We're going to castle what? Do you know what this is, actually, guys? Does anyone realize what we're playing here? This is like a pretty good exchange Caro-Kann. Like, Delver Flips Anatoly Line was one of your teachers. Yeah, we had the one game we played where he played a bad Queen's Gambit exchange with black, and he was all upset because he was kind of slightly worse. We were always on good terms, but during that one game he was really nervous, and this is a long time ago, and he was like so stressed out that he started to like tell the spectators to like step back or something. I am aware he was a good player. All right, but by the time we played in like 1992, he was already getting up there. He said, "Please don't." He told the spectator, like, "Please just don't." The guy didn't do anything. He was just standing there looking at the board like any normal spectator. And Anatoly Lane was just like stressed because he was almost losing to a 2200 player, and he was like 2400. I don't know. And that was me, you know. And he just like, "Please just don't." Like it was Nike, a Nike commercial for just don't. That was a meme. Bishop takes d6. No. What do you do after 95? He's Pillsbury variation. All right, let's admit we made a mistake and go back to c8. Like, where do you want to go? h5? Maybe the best thing to do here is to take it. This looks bad too. Even pawn takes. The pawn takes, maybe knight h5 is legit. All right. You know, even that's better for white, probably. This is terrible. I don't understand why you didn't play knight e5. I mean, in the game you're slightly better, but he could have played this. No. No, you had the in-between move. All right. But I still think you shouldn't allow any exchanges. This is better. All right, I'm drifting, guys. I'm getting too bogged down in this game. Force me to go forward. I just don't want to play bishop takes d6. What does the oracle say? Man, the oracle is like white is just a little better. The oracle says white is only half a pawn better. What? Man. The computer is totally up in the air. It can't make up its mind. It thinks knight e5 is 0.4 and bishop takes bishop is 0.3. Now, I prefer to keep pieces on the board. I like knight e5 better. But you got it. And this is why h6 sucks in the exchange variation. Now what is he going to do? If he hadn't played h6, he could move his knight later on and play like f6. Maybe. But now there's no anything. You're done. You know, it's game over. This can come over here. You castle kingside. You don't have to do anything fancy. You don't have to castle queenside and roll the dice. You're just going to win. I mean, black is screwed, man. Once I saw Steinitz, like, in a historical game, sack a piece, where there was, like, a pawn on f6 in a position that looked like this. Like, you could literally, like, castle, allow black to have 2 moves in a row, play f6, move his bishop, and probably you're still better. You couldn't figure out how to upload games on my phone, so I whispered to you. Oh. If you want to submit a game, Delver flips. If you want to submit a game, if it's possible, can you send me a message on lichess? Maybe I can. That would be the easiest. We'll see if we have time. It's a little late for... Yeah, the Dream Pillsbury attack. Exactly. Yeah, this is over, man. It's over. Black has no counterplay. This is how my teammate lost 3 times. Stuff like this. Positions like this. I was horrified. The guy's a FIDE master, supposedly. But he plays like a 2100. At best. You know, he's like a weak 2100 in reality. And he's supposed to be a FIDE master. I mean, I don't mean to bash people, but dude, cost us a first division team championship qualification. I was pissed. It's like, you gotta know not to do h6 in this type of structure. King h1. You know, basically, Sumahara is setting up a stonewall attack. Maybe speaking of stonewall attacks, maybe we can do. Maybe it's not so stupid. Whisper me the game. Somebody in Twitch can send me the game. If you can't send it to me, I've got two different browsers on, and it's a little tricky for me to go between my Twitch and that's just too complicated. Rook f3, rook g3. Yeah, I like king h1. Although rook f3 probably can't hurt. Black's only chance here, by the way, it looks like, should be to play like c5. If you can't play f6, and white's about to annihilate you on the king side with the Pillsbury bind, you better quickly find some counterplay on the c file and try to distract him. So black, it's like a Nimzo. You can go rook c8 and some sort of c5. That's his only chance here. King h1, knight g4. That's nice, but it doesn't really cut any mustard. Queen e2. I guess that's a good move. h5. No. Yeah, I mean, we're in trouble. I mean, he's already in trouble, clearly. But if you have to play h5, you know you're in big trouble. So he went back. Maybe knight h6, yeah. That didn't help. Are we glad we played h6 now? So the guy found c5. You know, I mean, this is what I was saying. Like, that's the only chance. Some sort of distractionary tactics. Getting counterplay in another place, another dimension. I'm a little concerned. The g4 could involve weakening our king. Probably not. Just go for it. It's a nice h file, but it doesn't really matter. Looks good. And again, like, he can get some kind of counterplay against d4. Not liking your queen on the file here, but it's probably like he's too slow. And now he just went berserk with knight takes g4. But it's hopeless. It looks hopeless. He's got to try something else. I think he can. You know, he's got a stonewall defense style defense with maybe knight e4. It looks really bad, but I think that black might be able to survive here with like computer-like defense. Cooking Rooks, thank you for that. That's from Delver. I suddenly got some sort of allergy going on. But I don't eat or like blow my nose on stream, so you just have to live with my nasal. My nasal congestion. Alright. Let's add that to analysis stream. If I can get there, if we have enough time. We'll go back. So we got some humidity kicking in here. It was supposed to be like very low humidity. I just want to see what the engine says. We're gonna wrap this game up, but I just want to see what the engine says. Knight e4. Yeah. He's hanging on by threads with something like this, you know, hoping that there can be some kind of. That's not unusual in the stonewall attack. Stick a piece on e4 and hope to like break white's attack. This will give him some chances. This is his only chance. But this looks bad. Yeah, he didn't realize how serious this is. There's no time for f6. Honestly, I missed queen h6. There's the old f6. But I alluded, a few minutes ago, I alluded to a Steinitz game where he like sacked a piece with a knight on e5. It was kind of similar to this, like a positional piece sack. Now the guy's queen is trapped. Ironically. Oops. Yeah, the only move. The only move. And for our next trick, so black must be quite a good tactical player to be 2300. He found the only way to survive temporarily. I was expecting queen f6. You know, maybe that's his better option here. Staying close to f7. No, he's just getting nailed by knight f5. Alright, knight d5 rather. So there's no choice. How come lichess now, you tell me? Lichess doesn't say I'm streaming? I don't know. Does anybody else notice that? We have quite a few viewers. 27. I don't think I'd have 27 if... Well, Cheesemate's rating with a party of 7. Does anybody else not see me streaming on lichess? Oh, there's a lot of streamers. There's just a lot of streamers and there's only room for 5. Hopefully I alternate in there. But there's some that I just don't like, honestly. I think it alternates. You know, I'm in the list. I think you just get alternated in and out, you know, within those top 5. I definitely wouldn't have enough viewers if I wasn't. I've been very faithful to this site, and hopefully they continue to support me in that little bit of way they can. Queen b6, knight d5. The problem is when there's like 5 people streaming. There's these people who started, like, they stream 24 hours a day now. It sort of drives me crazy. I won't name names, but check, king g3, queen a3 check, king h4. That's crazy. Wow. There's got to be a simpler way to do this without playing king h4. I admit it's not obvious. Bishop d3 loses. Honestly, if it was my game, I probably would play queen f3, let him trade queens, and grind him down with the 2 pieces for the rook. But it's not so simple. Okay, knight f3 is possible. That's the safest. lichess is informing everyone that you're streaming. Informing. Nefyadov, welcome. So queen a3 check, king h4, rook e5. Yeah, that's crushing. Anyway, it was a crushing game. Good job. So I spent a little too long in this game. We've got to move on. We're going to have to go a little bit faster. Actually, how did I do Sumaher's game? I skipped ahead to do Sumaher's game? I'm sorry, guys. I skipped ahead of everyone else on the list and did Sumaher's game. My apologies. To those of you I skipped over, I don't know why I did that. Don't know why I do the things I do. Sumaher, you feel special. In honor of your second place finish in our tournament on Tuesday, I did your game out of order. Although in the past you've asked to have your game done first. Alright. What am I looking at? Oh, this is the funny game. Alright, we're not on that one. Who's putting me on that? Maybe someone else put me there. All right, this is move 11. I normally like try to do serious games here. We've got a bomb cloud or something, but you know, not my focus really. Bullet chess or bomb clouds. I try to be serious. That's my angle. Once in a while we laugh. I was laughing today earlier. So we've got then move 11 playing white in a Pirates Modern. The move 11 attack. A6, queen d2, knight d7, f3. Okay, this is one of many different ways to play. Black played c5. So c5 looks a bit early. I threw the game with Sumaher to deprive you of second. Exactly. I threw it. I wanted to drop all my pawns and my queen in a sequence of 5 moves. That was my goal. I was thrilled with that. So this is an unusual move to play c5. What do we do? Tricky. Yeah, I don't know. I would give this some serious thought. c5 is unusual. But he has b5 follow-up, so d5 doesn't look good. You know, I don't like allowing that. It's not a Dragon Sicilian. I'm going to have to go through these games a little faster, guys. We've only got about an hour left. A little under an hour left. So move 11 could take on c5. I don't really like d5. And we need to develop, it feels like. Weird. Yeah, this is surprising that black hasn't tried this more often. I mean, it looks like here, maybe you could do a4 and try to play it like a Samish King's Indian. You know, a4, b4, knight d1. The first Saturday IM tournament game pops up immediately from 2003. Mészáros. Tomasz. That's an option. You know, you could play that way. I played both those guys before. Paulsen and Mészáros. H4, interesting. H5? Knight H3? Yeah, I mean that's the problem with H5. You're asking for knight H3, knight G5, permanent visitor. Knight H3 is preferable if we can get that in. So H5 looks kind of weird. I mean, black acted in the center and white just ignored him with H4. So shouldn't black maybe take? Bishop takes. I understand, you know. There's H5 coming. Knight F6, H5. Can you do that? Because I'm really not sure. Knight H5, Rook H5. Bishop takes D4. What is happening here? I don't have a clue. Queen D4, E5. Queen D6. Pawn takes pawn. Knight D5. Have a nice life. I don't know. That doesn't look healthy. For example. Alright. But I feel like black should react in the center. He plays H5. Knight H3. B5. Wow, and there's actually a transposition. We've actually transposed. Okay, so they're playing B5 first and then C5, and so we've gotten into something semi-normal now. This is like my game with someone on sound, by the way, from a simul about 3 weeks ago. 34th World Open champ in the house. Someone's in the house? 34th World Open champ? Did I miss a major raid or something? Cheesemate raided with a party of 7. I got distracted. when Cheesemate raided with a party of 7, I was trying to say thank you Cheesemate for the raid, and then I got distracted. So muchas gracias, por favor, for the raid from Cheesemate. Astrobate, I don't know what you're talking about. Knight g5, right? Knight f6. Castles. Yeah, even someone on sound wouldn't do that. It looks like e5 is beckoning. Doesn't black walk right into e5 here? Game over. I think he just allowed e5. Astrobate, when is the 34th? That's the 34th World Open? The next World Open? The one this year? That I'm not going to? Alright. Yeah, e5 looks crushing. Yeah. That's game over, man. Move 11 just didn't calculate. I don't like castling queenside, you know, in those sort of positions. But it's kind of dragon-like. But in the dragon, you know, you don't have this like 3-pronged pawn, you know, mass coming at you. No, I mean, I just like this. This is killing. You don't need to play d takes c5. That's not the idea. That's good too, maybe. But I mean, this looks crushing. Black's lost. I mean, e6. What are you going to do? Nah, it's over, man. This has got to be over. You can't take on e5. You have to take here. Alright, let's go a little further. Maybe it's not so simple. No, maybe it's not so simple. Maybe it's not so simple. Let's be lazy. E takes f6, pawn takes e3. You know, it's funny, I was looking for this, and it is there. Wow. So this wins. I saw it, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, I think it wins. Yeah, the computer plays your line. Weird. So e5 looks crushing. How does he survive there? Ah, you could just take. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really, like, getting spacey. You're right. It's not so clear, Dr. Tripchance. This is not over. He just takes. You're probably right. This is better. Yeah, this endgame is not so clear. After takes, I thought it was over, but he just goes into the ending. White is better, but not so clear. You're 100% right. No. E5 is not sure. This is clearly better for white. But I don't like castle queenside. That seems kind of weird. Dangerous. And fun. Weird, dangerous, and fun. The ideal date. B4. 92. I mean, I'm thinking about 95. The ending after e5 looks hopeless. Well, it's better for white, Mozart. Like, definitely. But I didn't think it was hopeless. Hopeless may be a little harsh. You know, this is better, but it wasn't like stone cold killing like I was hoping. Here. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a normal Sicilian now. Black's allergic to playing c takes d. But it seems like he can do that. He could play c takes d, bishop d4, and castle. It doesn't look that bad for black. I guess move 11 could play bishop c4, but then this looks kind of scary. Not clear. We're ready to play g4. You could actually do that. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. No, I don't know. I don't know. This looks playable for both sides, actually. g4, whoa. As I was saying, g4 is very strong. No, I'm not. I wouldn't have been sure. The computer thinks this is good. But I think the point is, it's not something like h5. The engine wants to go with like this recapture. Nope. Wrong again. If g4h, g4 knight b3, okay. Queen c7 and recapture. I mean, it's a game there. It's not clear. Anyway, guys, I'm lingering too long on one game. It's pretty close. Rook b8, knight c1, castles g4, cd4, so we transpose, bishop takes. I've takes, knight b3. And it's a dragon, basically. It's a weird dragon. e5, d5, d5, knight e5, queen d8, king d8, castles queenside, check, king e8, bishop takes b5, a b5, knight b5, and looks over. Earlier. I mean, knight f6 is not a move, man. You can't play that here. That's a nice, wishful move. If black can play that, he got away with murder. Yeah, he's pretending he's playing the Sicilian now. Take, 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 check. I mean, I was actually thinking he could play king c7, but it may not work because of bishop f4. I think in my mind. What about bishop d7? Wow. Computer just kills it. You can't play bishop d7. You have to play king e8. And then there's a piece sack. Threatening mate in 3 with knight c7 check. Black just somehow like sort of sacks the exchange and grovels for a draw. What's the material here? Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. It looks like white should be winning, objectively. We're up the exchange. I don't even understand. I don't see how black has compensation for anything there. That looks really good. I agree, Mozart. That looks like a winning line. I don't understand why it's just like one pawn up according to the engine. Castles was fun though. Move 11 likes a full-bodied game. None of this end games stuff. But honestly, this is pretty weird now. Knight d3. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. I'm not letting that knight come in there. What if we just take? Like, why not just take? Pawn takes h5, and maybe we can play f4. What's his best move? After pawn takes. He has to play knight takes, leaving the center, and then we can play f4 with impunity. And now he's Scrooged. Unless you've got f6 or something. This looks very promising for white. It's not over. You know, it's like a crazy dragon. +2. Yeah. Yeah, man. GH5 is +3 for white. Wow. So he just didn't pull the trigger. I don't like letting this knight in c4. That's scary. You don't want to let this knight in here. And suddenly black has some kind of crazy counterplay. That's a nice diagonal. Yikes. This was a fun game. Now he's preparing b3. Or maybe knight c5 to b3. I don't like this anymore. He just ran out of pieces. That was a fun game, move 11, but I think, you got a little bit of a break there. Nice mate at the end, though, with queen h7. Not perfectly played. Tezek apologizes in advance for what he's about to witness, what everyone is about to witness. All right, Tezek. This is Tezek versus Brahmies. So knight f3, d5, g3, c6, yawn. Yeah, man, I basically want to quit playing knight f3. It's gotten to me. I can't, I make fun of people playing the London, and then I turn around and play this stuff with White, and I don't know how many times I've like sat down at the board and played the King's Indian attack with knight f3, and then asked myself the question like 15 moves later, why do I play this crap? It's just, I've got to get something better. I've got to play real openings. You get to play against the London with White too. Yeah, and I love playing against the London. That's my favorite. It's like I can play the London for both colors. Play against the London for both colors. Smokecraft. Yeah, I mean, I just will stop. I have to stop myself from doing it. It's hopeless. If I play like online, I'm playing either d4 or e4 in all my games. But I'm like Mozart said, my opening repertoire is from like 2006. So I started playing knight f3 at some point just to be like a wuss. Knight f3, d5, g3, c6, bishop g2, knight f6, castles, e6, d3, standard. But this is kind of lame. Like, there's no point in e6, c6 for black if you haven't committed anything. He's playing like the passive Kali system for no reason. I mean, he should at least try to play e5 or c5. That's stupid for black. Amazingly, it was played by Rajabov in 2008. Just no reason for that. He lost, too, against Wagner. Why would you voluntarily play c6 and e6 so early against a King's Indian? e4, knight on bd7, rook e1, knight f8. Oh my god. This was a 3-0 blitz game. Yeah, this is ill. The Kali system with knight f8. Alright, so what do we do? It's not a no-brainer that we push and grab that space with e5. I mean, you might want to consider your options not to lock it up so much. I mean, sure, it's a good move. Sure, White has like a crushing space advantage, but if closed positions aren't your thing, I mean, maybe you want another option here for White. You could play like queen e2, maybe. I don't really want to allow an exchange of queens. That looks like what he's trying to do. He's like threatening to exchange queens. So that's really sad. Basically, black has the worst advanced Caro-Kann of all time. But I mean, with enough time, black could correct his position. So d4, counterplay. I'm not sure that d4 is the right way to go about this. I don't know. I like h4. Though he can try to be cagey and do something like h6, g5. Since he's not castled, he could try to play g5. Yeah, maybe he's pretending he's playing the King's Indian attack. But this is the plan for White. Yeah, I agree. No, that's standard for White. But we don't need to play d4. I mean, e5 is overprotected by pieces usually here. If you want to, you can play queen e2. I am concerned about black doing something weird like g5. If he gets in g5, it could complicate our life a little bit. If we play h4, he can play like h6 and try to play g5. situation, you know, as strange as Black's position is, his king is not committed to castling kingside. So I'm not sure what to do. Having said all that, I don't think that d4 is a bad move, objectively. What should Black do? Okay. Yeah. Probably Black should play b6 and try to set up his queenside. Alright. Now, it's a relatively normal position where the knight should be on c6, not on g6. b6 now, you hammer him with h4. Absolutely. And that's a problem. It's Petrosian, right? This is straight out of Tigran the Great. Now Black played h5. That's a goner. It's game over. Instead of knight h2, maybe this just wins directly. I don't think there's any need to play knight h2. You might find that your knight, you might find that your knight can come to a different square, like e3. I think Black has just lost. Bishop takes g5. Bishop takes g5. f6. Pawn takes. Knight takes f6. Yeah. I guess, worst case scenario, we could actually do this. No. f2 is hanging. This looks good, though. We just don't have to play bishop takes f6. The advantage for white is +4. Only +4, strategically. And that's pretty much like the best Black could do. Yeah, it's true. You can play h takes g. Yeah, I was worried about the silly h4, but whatever. It's probably lost for Black strategically. I mean, my God, what's he going to do? Here, if this, knight takes, and then you've got f4. Black has no space. I mean, it's very hard to imagine I can survive here. So that's true as well. Instead, knight h2, classic King's Indian plan, but this is bad. I mean, you need to get that pawn with your queen. g4 is a terrible blunder. Just a clean knight g5, and this is hitting the air, and we're back into the same kind of thing we had a minute ago. The only difference, the knight's on h2, the bishop's on a6. He might have some defensive possibilities because the bishop can come to d3. Like, okay, that slightly improves his defensive chances in some ways. Sometimes you can guard against a Greek gift mate on h7 with bishop d3. This is over. Yeah, it should be over. But g4 is a blunder. Weakening this pawn on h4 and making his knight relevant. I imagine g4 is a pretty serious blunder. Takes the pawn. That's good. He got something for a value for his knight on g6. That's usually the worst piece ever. So Tazaic here, you've gotten yourself into a weird position where you basically screwed it up. And I don't know what to suggest. I mean, you're down a pawn without a lot of play. Maybe you could try rook e3 and lifting this. Exactly. Like when you have a knight on g6, the pawn on g3 dominates the knight, and that's the worst knight in the world. Knight on g6 with the pawn on g3. The most famous bad knight of all time. No, I think rook e3 might offer some sort of practical chance. Though I think you've totally wasted your position. The engine still thinks you're better. Damn, I'm good, though. I found the best move there. No, it changed his mind last minute. Oh, rook e3. Yeah, I'm a genius. I found this on my own, naturally. The engine thinks he's better here. Wow, he's down a pawn. I thought white was almost lost. His space. That's amazing. I thought he's just clearly losing the thread here. I was concerned about like queen g5. You know, but it's possible we have some sort of evil queen c2 type of moves. For example, f5, pawn takes f6, knight takes f6, knight takes f6, rook f6, check, king here, rook takes c1. Just this is a hypothetical variation where the black king is less safe than the white king, and I assume that makes white better. He was totally crushing, but he made black, you know, be in the game with this. And now bishop h6 is really nuts. That's just like kind of hope chess. You basically played hope chess. Like, if black, you know, does exactly what I want, I'll be good. But black remained very sensible. Here, in fact, you know, you might want to consider king g3. Because it looks like your only chance is the h file. I wouldn't want to... I see that you're thinking g file. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the h file is gone. It's time to think about the g file. After bishop h3, I've resigned from the h file. I'm going for the g file now. I think you should change your plan with that bishop on h3. If you wanted to play rook h1, you should have put your king on g3. Now the other rook. Exactly. And the poor guy is faced with the threat of knight f6 check, which is suddenly serious. Ooh. Alright, bishop e2. Now we need a quiet move of some sort. Queen where? I'm afraid he's gonna like trade queens or something. We don't want him to trade queens. Queen e4 concerns me. But black is in danger of knight h6. Oh no. You can't get away like that to the h file. I told you should have put your king on g3. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the moment is past. Here it feels like you have something, but maybe not. I mean, you're tied down to f2. Maybe it's not too late to play something like rook g3 and try to use rooks in front of the king rather than behind the king. Was there knight f6 check instead of bishop f1? Here. Yeah, knight f6. Queen h6. Yeah, he's dropping a piece there. So after king h8, you have knight f6. I'm getting tired and missing tactics. How many games do we have left? Cooking Rooks. Play like Kasparov. And the last questionable game. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like King H8, but I understand why. I understood why he played it. But objectively, it looks like he should have played. He should have played Queen E4, because Knight F6 check is met by. I don't know. Maybe we have to look at this deeper. Knight F6 is met by Knight F6, but then Queen F6. And it's still not over. This is just the beginning. G6. My God, man. Oof. Bishop takes E6 now. Just when you thought it was safe. Man, this is still dubious. He just defends. It looks like White's king is in a bad place. I just don't think it's gonna work. But it's basically pretty unclear. The king and there was problems with the coordination, you know. There's also this though. Still not clear. This is also not clear. After Knight F6 was the Rook G7? Oh crap. Knight F6, Rook G7? Oh my God. Maybe there is. King G7, Queen H6 check. Oh my God. King H7, exclamation point. Triple exclam. And then Rook G1. Bling. That's pretty insane. Black is lost. Unless there's some miracle queen sacrifice. Like Queen G6 doesn't work. This is crazy, man. He's busted. Wow. That is cool. Rook G7 wins. We totally missed it. So that's the refutation, Knight F6. And sack the rook on G7. Thank you for submitting that line. It looks like Black's lost then. Okay, he could have played Bishop G4. Thank you, Engine. So, okay, this move obviously. I saw that like when he first went through the game, and then I forgot it. I'm relying on you guys to catch me when I miss obvious moves. Of course he plays Bishop takes G4. Come on, wake up. Someone already said it and I just ignored them, but I can't catch everything. Queen F4. Yeah, I knew King H8 was bad. Obviously you have to take the knight and it's like better for black. White is kind of overextended. This still looks scary though. Yeah, okay. This is a battle. King H8's a blunder. Here, 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 here. Crazy. And I mean, he should trade the queens off, man. Obviously. You gotta play King G3 not to lose the exchange. And then he trades queens and he's like up a pawn with, you know, White having a mating attack. No. It's easy. No, objectively, like here, it looks like you're not gonna mate him and he's just up a pawn with a C file and White's ultimately gonna lose. This is overextension. Of course, if there was a mate on the H file, if you had like one extra move, maybe there would be something there. But he was not a master defender. He played Bishop E4 here, and then he realized, you know, there's problems. If he takes the rook on H1, he might have to like sack his queen. So he says, oh no, I'm going to do this. He loses the queen. Not a perfect game. All right. Anyway, it was interesting. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Black King. This is Cooking Rooks. Thanks to everybody for the support today. Mr. Asterbait, Cooking Rooks, Move 11, Mr. Coffee, everyone who's subscribed. Mr. Slow. This is Astrobait. No, this is Cooking Rooks. All right, black. Sicilian. Are you sure you weren't playing Astrobait? Because he likes to do this, knight g5. He did it in another game we looked at. It's just, yeah, I mean, this is not the fried liver attack. Boom. Alright, this was a blunder. You could have played knight takes c5. d5 is cute. I like it, but it's not the best move. Bishop b5 here. Alright. His knight's hanging. Takes. No. Oops. Dropped a piece. Nice greedy move you got there. Queen e5 check. But good. Queen e2. You're up a piece in an endgame. Don't make a mistake of not trading queens there, because a lot of people do that. They're like, I don't know how good my endgame is. I don't like to trade queens when I'm up a piece. I don't trust my endgame technique. If you can't trust your endgame technique when you're up a piece, you need to take up a different game. All right, you got to be able to trust yourself when you have a winning material advantage to trade queens. You know, one pawn, not a big deal. Two pawns starts to be a big deal. When you're piece up, it should be decisive. No questions asked. Queen e2, queen e2, king e2. The bishop c4 happens all the time. It's a crappy line. It's the London system against e4 c5. The Bodler attack. It's the most popular opening on lichess. So I don't like this move. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in the remaining games. We don't have much time left. But Cooking Rooks, you've got to view the positions, any position, holistically. It's a biological entity. Your position is a living organism. All right. It doesn't matter if you're up a piece, down a piece. You know, there are queens on the board. You're not castled. Whatever. Every position is a kind of like living organism, and you don't want to do this. Your pawns have kind of nice fluidity. When you play d4, your pawns become kind of stagnant and stuck. You know, I don't like this. I like the fluidity of your pawns. This is obviously a problem. It would be better if we didn't have it or it was on b6. But this move to fix your pawns is kind of ugly. I don't think that's our major issue. You should be thinking about your bishop on c8. So I don't love d4. Rook e1. My only criticism of your play so far. Now c3. Whatever. This feels very materialistic. You should be focused again, holistics. Development of the pieces. Cooking Rooks you have to ascend from the Proterozoic to the next level. Bishop h2 shows primal materialism. You're up a piece. It doesn't matter like some pawn on h2. You need to develop your pieces and get coordinated. Of course he gets trapped. That's what bishops are for. But this Proterozoic d4 I didn't like either. Yeah, this is bad. Basically, you have a piece up. The word is consolidation. You don't have to grab further material. Don't be greedy. Focus on fundamentals. Development, king safety. I would play... I don't know. I would probably play like f6 in this position. So I could put my king on f7 and then begin to like get my pieces off the back rank. But your biggest problem is your bishop on c8. You have an extra piece, but it can't get in the game. So fix it. Think more holistically. Bishop takes h2, cd4. That actually helps you. cd4, king f1. Now get it the hell out of there before it happens. Clearly he's going to trap your bishop with g3. Don't put pieces in crazy places, like your Ivanchuk or something. You know, get the bishop back. Bishops are distance pieces. Bring it back to safety. Be principled. Knight f6. Looks like you're going to go on an adventure here. Now bishop g5. Yep. I thought so. He's going on an adventure. You know, I had another game where somebody was showing me where they put like two pieces in limbo instead of one. It's like It's like investing when you or gambling when you like put bad money after good. Like I'm gonna put my bishop on a very dangerous square, and then I'm gonna like defend it with another piece on an extremely like totally like exposed and precarious position. You're gonna end up with like two pieces in exposed precarious positions instead of one. You don't want to do that. You know, give yourself a break and bring your bishop back to d6 where it can't get hurt. Um, Again, bishops are distance pieces. Bishop h4 and now f6. F6 is actually not a bad move. Probably you wanted to play g5 and you're thinking offensively. But I like the fact that your king can get off the freaking back rank. And then eventually you can play e5 and get your bishop off the freaking back rank and get all your pieces in the game. So your bishop got trapped, whatever. Alright, goodbye, bishop. Good thing we had an extra piece, and now you're trapping his bishop with g5. Alright, e5 is fine. You got your bishop out. You can counter with g5. You lost a piece, but you're getting one back. King g2. And now this is weird. This is weird. His bishop's trapped, your bishop's trapped. Let's do the math. You're a computer guy. You can do math. That's all right. We'll do g5. He goes f3. We take his bishop. He takes our knight, and then we save our bishop or whatever. You know, he's going to get one piece, and we're going to get one piece. But the way you played it with bishop takes g3, he plays bishop takes g3, and now you didn't get a piece in exchange for his piece. The whole position is transmorgified, and now you have two pawns up in an opposite colored bishop position. This is totally different. You know, you're still up a lot of material, but the whole position is dramatically different from what it was like a couple of moves ago. And now castles. No, king f7. You might find that your rook is actually better placed. So I think cooking rooks, your biggest problem is like being attached to these like beginner kind of concepts. Materialism, castling. You've got it to progress to the intermediate level. You have to let go of those like beginner kind of ideas. Material is important, but here, for example, castling is inappropriate. You know, your rook is actually more relevant on h8 than it is on f8. On h8, this rook is better placed. You can support these pawns going down. All you need to do is king f7, get your king off the line of the rook, make way for the rooks in the back rank, and then you're playing like h5, g5. The rook is actually better placed on its initial square than it would be on a castled position. Instead, all right, castles, knight d2, pieces. Best move probably bishop e6. Put the piece on the killer square here. You didn't see it. He's starting a cheap shot. You're counterattacking. All right. I don't like losing this valuable pawn on d4, so it's protected now. Rook a d1, c5. All right. Knight h4. Let's kill his knight. Let's not let him come to f5. Just play g6. Die, knight. Just prophylaxis. He's got nothing. So I don't want to let him in here. He came in anyway. Alright, we're going to go offensive on him. And he dropped a rook. Alright, that's game over. That better be game over. That better be game over. Yeah, my first instinct here is rook c8. I'm not playing for mate. I'm winning the game. I'm not going to let him have any pieces active whatsoever. Before I play for mate, I eliminate any counterplay for the opponent. Do you have mate with g5? No. Cooking rooks is recklessly aggressive. Oops, there goes a piece. Check. Oops. And you got it. It wasn't pretty. And mate in 1. Oh no. He had mate in 1 with rook e5. This is probably blitz, right? Please don't stalemate him. Oh no. We hung the pawn. And now black wins on time. Yeah, so was the time scramble. Alright. But move away from the beginner stuff. You know, material. You gotta progress and think about the position more holistically. That's my general advice. I can't play anybody. We're going over games here. Play like Kasparov against GM Burr. GM Burr. He's not a Shakespearean writer, it looks like. Judging by his stream titles, I don't know. I think I once met Izoria and we were talking. He's a nice guy. Only once. I don't know if you remembered me, but I think I was kind of drunk when I was talking to him once in Chicago. We never played, but he's a nice guy. All right. Ready to go. It's play like Kasparov against Zviad Azoria. d4, knight f6, knight f3, d6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, castles. He plays h3. And this is kind of funny because play Kasparov plays h3. And I've been playing it a little bit lately too, so you should have been well prepared for that. Astrobate, I'm always the #1 streamer on the list. Thanks, guys, for your kind support today. The Makhagedov is the best scoring line in the Opening Explorer. 41% wins, 21% losses. It looks like G3. Well, there's some random moves, but that's not statistically relevant. Let's just talk for a minute about statistics. White's 3 main moves: bishop e2, h3, and, well, the Larson variation, or whatever it's called, like bishop e3, is really, really rare. I mean, that can actually be interesting too. You know what's kind of surprising? How few reliable moves White actually has here. Uberdriver, what does h3 do? It changes the dynamics. I mean, there's a lot of lines where White is castling queenside, man. I mean, I think that's the major thing. We're not necessarily going to sit there and get pounded into the ground with like a King's Indian attack on our king, you know. We're going to change the dynamics and play like positions where oftentimes White is actually castling long or not castling at all. Like, we could totally change it. Almost an FM chick. We're not playing people. That's the only problem. I'm just analyzing my subscribers' games. I'd be glad to play with you if I was playing with anybody. So that's the only thing. H3 is a move that, you know, if we transpose to like a Petrosian King's Indian, then yeah, okay, what does H3 do? Maybe not that much. I had a game with a German GM in like 1996, 95 at the New York Open. Christian Gabriel. He played like h3, knight a6, bishop e2, and we transposed to a Petrosian system where he played like h3. Then I guess your question becomes kind of valid. Like, what does h3 do? I don't know. It like transposes to something. But the real question is like the more aggressive lines, you know. What are we doing after, obviously, d5? What is black going to do against bishop g5 and stuff like g4? This is the real trick. So this is what happened in the game. h3, e5. By the way, I think c5 is, you know, you got to play the Benoni, but c5 is probably a safer, let's just put it this way. c5 might be a safer option for black, but it's more like almost like well, it is a Benoni. You know, you're not playing the King's Indian purely anymore. Knight a6 is a move. I lost to Shabalov once. I had a game with Shabalov that was like h3, knight a6, bishop g5, queen e8. I was like winning this tournament in New England, and I played Shaba in the last round, and I was like half a point ahead of him. It was like a 5-rounder, and I had 3.5 out of 4, and he had 3, and I lost. But I mean, playing the King's Indian against a strong GM is kind of stupid. But I didn't really have any other repertoire at that point. Yeah, knight a6 is definitely a solid variation. So e5, d5, c6. Uh-oh, it's Mr. Slow. What's going on with you guys? Yeah, I've been experimenting with stuff like a6. Dlugi played this against me when I was white. I like a6 with the idea of c6 and b5. We try to keep it fluid and not fix the center, so he can't like try to kill us with a kingside attack. You played with Benjamin Bach in Blitz, and you played what? A c5 break? Well, I mean, you know, c5 is fine. You know, c5, d5, e6, we play the Benoni. But I was thinking here, you know, white's playing bishop d3, ed5, cd5. We play mainline Benoni now. But that's slightly better for white. That's that. You got to know what you're doing. So a6, knight a6, all these different lines. He plays classically. So anyway, play like Kasparov likes to play, old school King's Indian. But objectively, after d5, you're not supposed to play c6. I don't know this line. Again, you're going to have to go really, really deep to make black's position work. You know, I don't know what to do. The main lines are a5 and knight h5, right? And I don't know, you know, if it's okay or not. Okay, knight a6 maybe. So you got 3 moves. Knight a6. All of these lines seem better for white. And that's the problem with the Makaganov, is this is just like unpleasant for black in all lines. So I don't know what c6 is. Some sort of slightly unusual variation. Bishop g5, cd5, cd5. The theory is that you've done white's work for him, basically. Exchanging and opening the c file normally favors white. But maybe you got some original idea here. I just don't like our spatial disadvantage. h6, should be 3, and there's a bunch of games here, but you don't see any big names playing black. Pia Kramling against Leonid back in 1984. Damn. Skaberne and Dragan Paunovic. So no household names, because it's just a weird way of playing with black. This is not a normal setup. h5, and now he played knight d2. But, I mean, this is one of the big maneuvers for white in this type of structure. No, I mean, I think the best thing to do against the Makaganov objectively is not to play e5. As I said, your idea with knight a6 is okay. Delaying it with knight a6, a6, or something flexible, or just play the Benoni. But these closed lines with e5 look kind of bad. You know, I don't know if you can make it work. But this line doesn't look trustworthy. Knight d2, okay, he's got knight c4. That's the problem with exchanging pawns on d5. There's a square for the knight there. And now he's basically just playing a Trojan King's Indian. It's just a good. That's all this is. It's not really a Makaganov anymore. It's just simply a good Petrosian for white, where CD5 has created a good square for his knight at C4. It's nothing fancy. This is just a weird square. You know, B6. You have nowhere to go from there. Yeah, it's actually, I said Petrosian system, but it looks a little like a classical too. Black's totally screwed here. It's already gone. Black has no counterplay, and white has a souped up queenside space advantage, like much better than you would get in a normal orthodox classical King's Indian. Yeah, you're basically like strategically lost. So he just like beat you in the opening. Let's see if we can get out of this somehow, because play like Kasparov is kind of tricky tactically. He could have played a6 now, but I think he was reluctant that it would lock the position too much. So this is a really nice positional game. I've never played against Zoria, but I'm seeing, you know, what looks like a very classical positional player. 98. I mean, I met him with Kashishvili in Chicago in like 2006. And I mean, just the fact that he's like hanging out with Kashishvili, who I've played with like several times. I mean, I know Georgie, and I was basically tutored by Gingiashvili. You know, these guys are Georgian grandmasters, and for the most part, they're very, very strategic style. Georgie is extremely positional. If Azoria is anything like that, and like Gingy, you got, you know, another guy who's just like extremely well trained, positional based, high level positional based player. This is not a wild tactician we're seeing here. He's a highly trained positional player. Queen b7 just grabbing a pawn. We're lost. And now, you know, if you hadn't played h5, but I'm a little worried about that pawn there. So it basically morphed into a King's Indian. Maybe you have a chance here. I was expecting you to play f4. But the problem is he has bishop a7. It looks like he actually has bishop a7, and that's an issue. We just lose that pawn, plus there's no tactics. I mean, you could play no moves, like bishop c8 loses a rook. That's why rook b8. But the problem is f4 now allows bishop b6. So you like have to do this. Now you're threatening nothing, basically. Yeah, that's brutal. You're threatening nothing. This is a nice secret move. Do you have any tricks at all? It opened up the queen. Yeah. But we're lost. He could even play bishop b6 to maybe gain a tempo, but bishop f2 is correct. Yeah, I mean, he played like machine. I mean, the King's Indian, you can lose the whole queen side and land a mate, but you've got not enough here. There's nothing here. This is over. It's totally over. I mean, this is just Pac-Man. Now you sacked a piece, but you got nothing. Classic, like, 7th rank invasion. It's no chance. Yeah, it's over. It appears to be over. The queen's off, no chance. All right, no, that was destructive. But I would recommend, you know, you go into some other line. So our last game, guys, I gotta shut down the stream soon. We've been on for 3 hours. Appreciate everyone supporting the stream. The last game was apparently a kind of like joke game. You got confused. I played the Chessmaster chick, and she resigned to draw an ending. Well, you know, there's like Chick Korea, Uber driver. I'm not sure that Chessmaster chick is necessarily a chick. Maybe it's a he whose name is Chick. This is like FM. It doesn't say WFM. It says something FM chick. I think it's like Chick Korea. It's a guy. Uber driver only plays them because he thought he's like picking up some chick. But I think it was probably a guy. You never know. It's the internet. Anyways, E4, E5. Never know what you're going to get with those guests. Maybe you'll meet your future wife, Uber driver. Your future mistress. Delver Flip said, I submitted a real game too. Oh. Alright, we'll do that for next time. Delver Flips is playing the Nigel Short, Bobby Fischer troll style stuff. E4, King E2, D6, King E3, Bishop E6, F4. This is like when you're taking acid or something. When you're handicapped playing your 3-year-old brother or Nigel Short, one of the above, this is the opening you choose. Alright. How bad can it be? You have knight F3 to blockade that pawn on F4. Pawn takes pawn. Now, I mean, this has gone a little too far. I thought we were going to come back to reality with King E2. I am very, very surprised. Even Nigel Short's online opponent from 2000 wouldn't do that. I think you got to go back to E2 and play the King's Gambit with your king on E2. I think this is going too far. Now we're probably losing by force, if I'm not mistaken. This has to be winning by force at this point. I think here you can probably, you can probably be like -3 or something if you're careful. This is totally like you can still take out Nigel Short at this point. But I think with King F4 we're going too far. You will lose even to Nigel after this move. Oh man, is that the chick? The dude just keeps challenging me. I'm not taking challenges right now. It's as easy as that. Well, I'm gonna have to ban him. Well, like he provoked black. Black freaked out with F5. F5 was totally not a move I would have even considered. It's interesting though. Maybe F5's not bad. Maybe F5's not bad. Not a move I even considered. I was looking at more serious stuff. Although Queen H4 feels kind of weird. You go King E3 and you're like Steinitz. You're gonna play the Steinitz variation of the King's Gambit. I think this has gone a little bit too far. F5. So black tries to get tricky, takes, and what? Wow, maybe black thought they had something fancy, and it's just not there. I think they thought they had maybe like Queen H4, but then realized that G4 isn't so clear. They underestimated the power of G4. But seriously, what's happening here on like Bishop F5? I know it's silly to analyze this, but I'm really like kind of curious. I assume black's winning, right? +5. That's too much, man. No, seriously, Bishop takes F5. It's a good move. It's not the only move, though. It's only the third best. It's only the third best move in this position. You gotta be sharp, Uber driver, to nail this. No, F5 was probably a good move, but they followed up poorly with like Bishop F7. You can't play f5 and then play bishop f7. That's just ridiculous. What kind of chess player calls himself a chess player and plays bishop f7? That's pathetic. Now white's, really got something. That's insane. Like, I mean, white might have the advantage now, right? Even though the king is exposed, it's coming back to g3, back to f2. Maybe advantage is too strong a word, but the game is definitely shifting here. What? This definitely is Bobby Fischer's opponent. I mean, Nigel Short's opponent from the internet. Anyway, this is a lighter game. I mean, bishop f7 and h6, man. They're just toothless. That's pathetic. Queen e7. Black is like a 300 player. There was that show on TV in the 80s. What was it? The 300 Club? The 400 Club? This is like a 400 playing black. They've been intimidated. They think they're playing like Bobby Fischer. Oh, I played Bobby Fischer. They're telling their friends now. I played Bobby Fischer. I'm sure about it. They're like, Nigel, I'm sure it was him. It played like a computer, yeah, but I'm sure he said he knew some people, and it was definitely Bobby. Oh, it's over. I can't watch anymore. Very entertaining. Uber driver, you played Tal in the Simul. Where was it? At Harvard or something? I think you mentioned that once. When you were going to Harvard to study Uber driving. Good game. Robert James. Nice win against Nigel Short there. Where was it in Boston? Where was this Tal Simul? That was like the year before I went to Boston. At the Boylston Chess Club. Okay. So it must have been 1989. Right? 89. The year before the Sladgy arrived. I was still in high school. Alright, Uber driver. Good luck. Good luck with your future romance. Having less fingers helps your blitz skill? Come on. It helped him pick up shot glasses. Anyway, guys, thanks everybody for joining me. Thank you very much for the hype train today. Thanks to Astrobait, Move 11, Mr. Slow, everyone who kindly, Cooking Rooks, everyone who kindly submitted their games. We will be back. We will be back like Tal. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. CEST, Central European Summertime. Fridays I have a Blitz stream at 11 in the morning. We just play all the challenges, so whatever. If you have 100 rated games, you have an account, you don't have to be a subscriber. I just take all the challenges with players who have established ratings. Anyway, Mr. Coffee also, thank you for being our moderator. Thanks to everybody for bearing with me in my old age here. Interesting stream. It was fun. A lot of good games. Let's see what's up. So let's see if we can toss out a raid to somebody. Angelica Chessborn is streaming. Let's do an Angelica raid. Alright guys, thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it. I will see you guys later.